All right, so the first one, or first thing we talk about in 5.2 is just kind of combining like terms. So you have an expression, so you have something like 4x squared. This right here is your variable, and then your exponents. We've talked about some of those, and the number in front is your coefficient. If you are adding together two numbers, if everything besides their coefficient is the same, then you can put them together. So if I look at everything besides the coefficient, here I have 4 of these plus 8 of these, so that means I have 12 of these. So I'm looking at everything besides the coefficient. If they're exactly the same, then I can put them together. And it doesn't matter how crazy you get if you had something like again, if you look at everything besides the coefficient. So I like the boxing because then it's like, if everything inside the box is the same, then I have -8 blue boxes plus 6 more blue boxes. So that means I have -2 of whatever's inside the box. Okay, so if everything besides the coefficient is the same, that means you can put them together. We'll talk about it. Usually when we write polynomials, we write them from the biggest exponent to the least exponent, so like 5x cubed plus 4x squared minus x plus 6. So you have 3 x's and you have 2 x's and you have 1 x. And right here there's actually 0 x's, so 3, 2, 1, 0. So you write them in descending order like that. There's 3 different types of polynomials. Well, there's a bunch of different types of polynomials, I guess. So if you have just one term together, that's called a monomial. If you have 2 terms, it's called a binomial. Mono means 1, bi means 2. If you have 3 terms, it's called a trinomial. And anything past 3, if you had something with 4 terms in it, is just a poly. Poly, the root word poly means many. So more than 3. So 1 term is monomial, 2 is binomial, 3 is trinomial. So if you see those words anywhere, that's what they mean. The next thing is talking about the degree of these. Degree of a polynomial. The degree of the polynomial is the highest exponent. Okay, so if you had a polynomial that was 5x to the 5th plus 6x squared minus 10, the highest exponent, so the degree of this would be the highest exponent, so the degree would be 5 on this one. Okay, the degree would be 5. The number in front, so this term, erase that real quick. This term right here is the one with the highest exponent. So my degree is 5. The number out in front is called my leading coefficient. Because remember, if we write it in order, the leading coefficient is the one out in front. In order, I mean the highest exponent first. All right, so what's my degree on this one? 6. What's my leading coefficient? It's got to go off that one, because if I wrote it in order, that one would be the one in the front. Okay. The one thing that's a little bit tougher about degree is if I have, let me just look at one term here real quick. Okay, so the degree of this term right here, since it has multiple variables, what you do is you add up all the exponents. So you have 2 x's, you have 1 y, you have 3 z's. So the degree of this term right here is 2 plus 1 plus 3 would be 6. It would be 2 plus 1 plus 3. Okay, so you add up every one of those. So what makes that's not that tough, but when you put it something like, something like this, where you have a polynomial with the x's and y's. Here you got to go find the degree of each term. So this one right here, what's the degree of this first one? 2 plus 3, yeah, sorry. And this one here, this one would be 3 plus 2. And then this one here would be 3 plus 3 is 6. So the degree of this term is 5, the degree of this one is 5, the degree of this one is 6. So the degree of the entire thing would be 6, since that's my biggest one. Okay. So you add up the exponents in each one. I think there's only 1 or 2 of those on the homework. You don't see those very often.